Alright, so our first video is going to be, he's got Aviator, Commando, and Zed. Let's get into the game here. So, same strats as usual. Get down the farms, get down the shotguns. I do a lot of dancing in these videos, by the way. Alright. Wave 6. Wave 7. So I go and ask him a question. I ask him if he can counter boss 1 rush with the Aviator. The reason I do that is because I want to preemptively give them the notion that there's a boss 1 rush coming. Okay, I placed down an Anarchist here on wave 8. I've got my 2 level 4 farms. I'm placing down a couple more because that boss 1 is going to take a while. Level 1 marksman. Pretty standard play here. I'm going to put a shotgun there. Another farm. You can see I'm playing here with 19 health. I never actually go down to 0 doing this kind of farming strategy with the shotgunners, unless I'm not paying attention. Alright, so on his side here, I've started the boss 1 rush. He has a level 3 Aviator, so it can see hidden, but that does not give him any sort of advantage against a boss 1 rush. Looks like he put down a Commando there. I'm complimenting his Aviator choice. Alright. It's wave 12. My Anarchist is level 4 now. As you can see, the boss 1 rush is proceeding despite him having a Commando and an Aviator, which is a good $5,000 worth of tower, and it can't stop the boss 1s. Mind you, this is just an average player. You can see here the Mega Android isn't even necessary because the boss 1s have gone so far. That's pretty much it. On a short map with an average player, it's easy. Now here's another average loadout. It's not this guy. Pretty sure he leaves. A lot of people are going to leave when they see your loadout. It's against this guy. So he's got marksman and a plasma, which are 2 very strong towers. 2 of the strongest towers in the game, actually. We are on City, another short map. It's harder to get many farms, like I showed in the first matchup. The shorter the map is, the less you're going to be able to farm, but that's okay because your sending will be a lot more effective in return for that. So I get my 2 shotgunners, my 2 level 4 farms. I got my marksman down, and I sent a couple bosses. Instead of buying farms, you have the option to send bosses. As you can see over there, he just barely killed his boss 1 halfway through the map. So if I send him 2 boss 1s, they should get all the way to the other side of the map by themselves, unless he upgrades his defense. So here I buy my Anarchist, and I buy the Attrition. The Attrition's not necessary. You can go straight to a level 4 Anarchist if you save the money. I just run Attrition for the mind games, because a lot of this game is mental, and if the opponent quits before you've actually won, then you've won the game anyway. So right here I get smoke. I'm deciding whether or not I should sell. I opt for the boss 1s instead. Looks like he is increasing his defenses. And that means it's time to get a mega android. He's barely defending the boss 1s already, so I sell both of my level 4 farms. I'll commonly do this because it is easy to go aggressive against average opponents. There you can see the bosses are helping the android get far ahead. And he has trampled the soldiers. I'm going to go ahead and throw a smoke down now that the android is out of the smoke range. So that way the marksman will no longer be able to target it, which will allow the boss 1s to start taking damage in its place. On my side, he did send a boss 1 and there is a natural boss 1, but that is almost dead. Looks like that's it for that video. Now the next video is an average player on Midnight Road. His name's Abomination, I think. Yeah, okay, so he didn't leave. He's got a mortar, patrol, and a barracks. If you see someone with patrol, that's usually a free win, because patrol is terrible for getting your farms upgraded early. So he goes ahead and vetoes to Midnight Road. I don't mind. Even though this is an aggressive loadout, it can be played more passively in the beginning, which I'll demonstrate here. I'm going to go ahead and just skip most of this. So Midnight Road is a huge map. It gives you a lot of extra time to make farms, but in this case he opted to send Speedy Rush, but it wasn't very big, so I just go ahead and place my Anarchist early. The Anarchist is slightly cheaper than the Marksman, but it's going to do more here because at the same time it is also sending zombies to his side. Whereas a marksman would be a very passive response, which is not necessary here because the map is so long that I can place more defenses, as I said in the actual video. So I go ahead and place down a shotgunner here. The naturals are not getting by. There is one slow back there, as you can see. But I'm opting to farm more because the boss 1 is going to take a very long time to get across. I go ahead and get 2 level 2 shotgunners. The reason I do this is because it is going to deal a lot of damage to his next couple sends there. So on his side, I don't check it for very long, but there's not a lot of activity going on there, which is not surprising. He is, however, sending quite a few boss 1s to my side. Now, unfortunately for him, he picked Midnight Road, so I can just keep farming and go ahead and place a marksman in the back. Now, at level 3, the marksman is going to do quite a bit of damage. It could probably take care of most of these sends by itself. However, there are natural zombies in the way. I'm going to see here, I'm upgrading my farms even more. The bosses are not coming in at full health because there are a bunch of shotgunners on the field. I go ahead and place down another marksman. Now I'm not sure if I sent at any point. I'm pretty sure this whole time I just spent time making farms because this guy is playing super aggressively. He's not gaining any economy at all. So I focus most of my attention to my side of the field. Oh, looks like he forfeited. So that marksman did not need to put much effort into taking out the rest of his sends. Now on his side, my androids are actually getting pretty far, and they aren't even mega yet. Since he's gone, I just watch my towers take care of the rest of his sends. I go ahead and get some upgraded shotgunners. I wouldn't worry about upgrading the shotgunners too much, but since he's gone, there's really no more threat to my side of the defense. So I go ahead and send him a bunch of boss ones, and I make sure to get that mega android out. My mega androids are sweeping his side. It is wave 17 now. Obviously he has not been playing for a while. He quit about 2 waves ago and he lost. Let's see, the next video is another average player on a short map. This one's running Commando, Mercenary, and Immortar. Commandos are super popular, but they are super terrible with dealing with boss 1 rushes, and especially Mega Android. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip most of this. So he says, quick game it is. And I say it's gonna be about 9 minutes, but it actually barely makes it to 6.5 minutes. And we'll see here. Always check the naturals, make sure that you're not being sent on. Because if they are sending, you're going to need a little extra defense than just 2 shotgunners. Now you'll notice that I placed that shotgunner in the back. I'm pretty sure I messed up my farming at some point here. So instead of getting another shotgunner, I had to place it in the back, which is fine. Because you can always just place another one in the front. Especially if your opponent is doing that poorly. It looks like he's making about 400 per wave right now at wave 7, and I'm making about 700 per wave, even though I messed up my farming. Skipping ahead, my anarchist is making its rounds with the android. Looks like I place a few more farms here because it's going pretty easy for me. I'm not even sure that I've sent him. Okay, I've sent him 2 boss ones at wave 10. I've sent him a couple more with that end of wave cache. I get the anarchist to level 3. Based on how things are going, I send some more boss ones. There's no need to sell the farms right now. It looks like he's got a commando down the back. However, as you can see, it's barely chipping the boss 1. He'd probably be lucky to kill both of those boss ones. It looks like that boss 1 is about to perish. He goes ahead and places down a mercenary. I go and smoke the whole area. And then I go ahead and sell my farms. Not all of them, of course. Just enough that I can get the Mega Android. I've already got a whole boss 1 rush from previous sends. So you can see there, 1 boss made it through, but not with enough HP. However, there are 7 more on the way. It's not looking too good for him. Looks like he is not able to defend it. My Mega Android came out pretty late here. And there he goes. Perished to the boss ones. Sometimes you don't even need the Mega Android, but it's always good to have because you never know what your opponent's going to do. Now, on this one is an average player. He's got really average towers. However, I lost this match. So playing the same I always do, I farmed very well. Looks like wave 7 I actually didn't get the double level 4 farms even. I don't think he sent either. I was just playing poorly and not paying too much attention to what I was doing. I go ahead and hide a farm back here. If you want to hide your strategy, you can always hide your farms. You don't have to place 2 of them out in the open. it kind of is a signal of what you're going to do, because if those farms disappear, your opponent can kind of anticipate a mega android. So I placed down that level 1 marksman. However, I kind of forget about it. I see that boss 1 die. Actually, looking at this footage, yeah, I died to hidden because I didn't upgrade my marksman. However, on his side, things were not going good. I had a lot of boss 1s going. The hidden were sweeping all the way through. It was pretty much my game at that point. However, I was not paying attention to my marksman. But the more you lose, the more you learn. So here I've got a ditto matchup against a Tower Battle community player, Hub. Now he's running the exact same loadout as I am. However, he's probably used it a lot longer than I have because he counters me completely. Okay, so see right here, I placed down my anarchist. I got a marksman. He sent a couple boss 1s at wave 9. That's pretty standard. If you send a couple boss 1s in any strategy, you are doing well for yourself. Because as you can see, I am forced to defend these boss 1s. Now on his side, he's also got boss 1s coming through that I sent him. However, he's got 2 marksmen and many more farms. I opted to sell my farms and get a level 4 anarchist. He continues to buy marksmen. And unfortunately for him, he defended the rush pretty easily. I continued to send more zombies, more anarchist mega androids, and it just did not work for me. So that's something to keep in mind. If you do find yourself facing a similar loadout, you can opt to play defensive. There are a couple of recordings I have where I'm playing defensive besides that Midnight Road, which I will be showcasing. Now this one is another loss. The reason I lost this one is because my opponent already knew my strategy. This was a pre-made matchup. He's using Enforcer. Now, Enforcer is only a threat to boss 1s if it's level 4. A bunch of level 2 spam can do some decent damage to them. They won't be as healthy as they can be. As you can see here, he's also playing aggressive. So I also have to play defensive here. I've got a bunch of level 3 marksmen here, which is enough to kill the boss 1s that he's sending. However, on his side, he begins to set up enforcers. He gets 2 level 2 or 2 level 4 enforcers at that corner he's working with. As you can see, it is destroying my mega android. So alternatively, if you don't like running commander, you could opt for enforcer as a support tower, because that would take care of certain rushes like the one I'm using. But then you sacrifice your abilities to kill boss 2. You can see here boss 2 did actually kill me because I was not playing defensively enough. I got it down to 62 HP and I took that loss. Now here I've got a recording of a gold scout player. He's got a pretty good win-loss ratio, and he's running gold scout with graveyard and a phaser and a Zed. Now the graveyard and the gold scout alone could actually counter this strategy, but anyways, if we go here, I'm playing like normal. This is mostly how people set up their wave 9 mega android rush. So when he sees my farms out in the open like that, he ends up forfeiting. Now I take a look at his side a couple times. He's got a gold scout and a couple farms, but he's not farming very well. He does place down a graveyard, but I think the mental gets to him and he just forfeits. So unfortunately, he lost that very quickly. Now, there is another video I have of Gold Scout. This one includes the mortar tower. I don't know if I moused over his loadout. Looks like I didn't bother. This might actually be a rematch. Okay, so like I said, the strategy starts when you're picking the maps. He picks Western, which is okay. I mean, he could probably counter us with Gold Scout on Western. I go for Canyon. What this does is it splits the votes, and it ends up forcing this map instead. Now that's totally random. It could have been Western, it could have been any of those maps. But by doing this, I picked a medium length map, but we ended up on a short map. So he doesn't know what to expect. And if I picked a short map, he would obviously see some kind of mega android rush coming, right? Now I go ahead and set up my farms, set up my shotguns, and I go ahead and set up my boss 1 defense. I've got pretty healthy farms here. Looks like wave 9 I've even got a level 3 farm additionally. I placed down my anarchist to start killing those slows. Gives the marksman a little bit of support. Now on his side, he's got 2 gold scouts and a mortar. He's also got some healthy looking farms as well. And it looks like he continues to build farms. So when I see that, I go ahead and I go and purchase the level 4 anarchist and start a big boss 1 rush. I don't want him to get too far ahead with his eco because Gold Scout can shut this down pretty quickly. Even on a short map like this, if he got it to level 3 and upgrade his mortar, it'd probably be over for me. So Mega Android is making its way out of the gates. I preemptively saved the end of wave cache that I had just so I could smoke here. The Gold Scouts aren't doing too much, but they are doing a lot more damage than the mortar. Now, interestingly enough, he pulls out a Zed, but I notice he does it at the cost of his farms, which is really good for us, because having no farms means we can keep pushing him and giving him more pressure. And you'll see right here, he places down another farm with his end of wave cache and continues to upgrade them. However, on his side, the boss 1 rush is proceeding as needed. On our side, we have very little to deal with, just a boss 1. Boss 1 is looking healthy, however, so I opt to place a shotgun here. You do what you gotta do on every map. On his side, the boss 1s are proceeding relentlessly. And a Zed pops out again on time. Looks like it kills most of those boss 1s, however, the Mega Android is still going strong. My smoke has regenerated, however, I don't spend it right away because I don't have money. The Mega Android gets pretty far, so he panics and sells all his farms and his Zed and replaces it. This of course kills the Mega Android. However, the boss 1 rush from the previous wave is still ongoing. I check my side again just to make sure things are going smoothly as well. It looks like his Zed has perished and the Mega Android is sneaking up again. He has also sold his Gold Scouts here. I believe to purchase that second Zed. I'm still too poor to send the smoke here. I keep checking my side because Necromancer is a bit of a threat with only 1 marksman. I go ahead and smoke his mortar so I can get those boss 1s and the Mega Android a little further in. Looks like it didn't make it, it fizzled out again. However, those boss 1s are still going. On our side, things start to look a little dire, but he's already given up as the boss ones are coming to get him. Right here you can see the Necromancer is trying to make its way. Since he's gone now, I can just focus all my efforts on defense. I go ahead and just spam shotguns because it is looking pretty bad with these mysteries. I go ahead and give the back shotgunner more range. And it looks like there are 5 boss ones and that Necromancer died. I placed down another level 3 marksman with the end of wave cache. It is now wave 16 and he is done for. Alright, that is a Gold Scout counter. However, it was a short map. It won't always have it that easy. Now on here, he's got a pretty similar loadout to mine. However, he is not using our strategy. He opts for Midnight Road, and I decide to play like normal. Obviously, I placed a few more farms than usual. Looks like I go for 3 shotgunners. Now, if you see your opponent standing on your side like this, that generally indicates that they're interested in sending, especially if you have minimal defenses like shotgunners. So just keep an eye out for any potential sends. That's why I scanned the zombies there. You can see he has returned to his side. He's got a little commando and a marksman set up there. However, I don't think he's farming. He might have a little too much trust in his tower. So you can see here the marksman level 3 is killing the first natural boss at wave 11. You get all the time in the world to kill that thing. I go ahead and start my big rush. As cool as the commando is, it unfortunately struggles with boss 1. I think its glory days are long over. So I set up my little anarchist shotgun combo there. It's wave 13 now. I believe he has tried sending a few boss ones. I've also been sending him, so he's doing it in retaliation, which means that his strategy is now breaking up because he does not have the farms to support a rush like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade my shotgunner. Now, it's a lot easier to spam shotgunners because you place down 2, you have twice the fire rate. You place down 3, you have 3 times the fire rate. However, I think the shotgunner looks cool with the glasses on, so I aim for style in this scenario here. I've got a level 4 shotgunner. That helps to soften up the boss ones quite a bit by about 20 HP per boss. It's not as good as like a plasma, but it's also a early game eco tower, so that is to our advantage. Okay, so he's asking how I got the Mega Android this early. As you can see, it is sweeping his side. On Midnight Road, you'll often see multiple of them. It looks like he just gave up and sold everything, but replaced a commando at the back here, but it was not enough for the Mega Android. We all know how this ends. Next video is a mortar plasma on long map. This guy's got quite a few wins, quite a few losses. He's got average experience, I'd say. I mean, he's not your starter, but looks like we end up voting for Hellastic here. I don't decide to do any counter voting. Hellastic is a decent map for defense, but for a long map it is not as hazardous to aggro because of this loop here. It doesn't loop over itself like western or military base. So we can play this map aggressively. Okay. So I do opt for some extra farms here. On his side, he's got a boss 1, but I went ahead and sent a boss rush here. On my side, things are going smoothly. He goes and puts down a plasma. I don't know if that's the best position for it. It does tend to get stuck on the slows there. On my side, things are getting cleaned up very easily. I'm checking the prices for the Anarchist final upgrade here to level 4. I don't even sell my level 4 farms for this. I just go ahead and play it slow because he is struggling very hard with his mortar only. I'm not sure which one to smoke here. I end up smoking the plasma because there is a cluster of boss 1s, but it does not do anything because plasma is barely affected by smoke, which is fine. Mortar would reach it anyways. You can see here there's 2 boss 1s about to enter the end there. I'm pretty sure he notices this. He was pretty focused on the little smoke distraction that I did and keeping his mortars upgraded. On my side, I am getting a lot of mysteries, so I opt to do a shotgun spam. Like I said, shotgun spam is generally more effective than upgrading a single shotgun. On his side, you can see the history is repeating itself, and he has 2 boss 1s going towards the finish line, but also the Mega Android is coming for him. At just 4 HP, he does not hope to defend this, but he instead asks how I did it in the first place. And of course I win here. Next one is a patrol boss 1 rush. Now this is a strategy I was referring to in the beginning of this video as being outdated. I'm about to show you why here. Now obviously you can see he's got a patrol only. That automatically signals they're doing patrol boss 1 rush. Now his win rate is actually pretty impressive. I assume he's just been attacking people with scout or something. Those people are pretty common. He's got a very high win ratio of 90% almost, and he goes for farm fields, the short map. That automatically tells me he's going for that boss 1 rush. Skipping ahead, I chat with him a little. I ask him why he only has patrol. He says he's a noob and he says he forgot his towers. I just play along with it, even though I know exactly what he's doing. As you can see, the naturals are slipping by my 2 shotgunners, but he hasn't sent anything, so I haven't increased my defenses. Towards wave 8, I do get my marksmans down. Now the difference when you know you're being rushed is that you focus your efforts on defense. So I've got a marksman down on wave 8. I didn't buy any extra farms or anything here. And then I go ahead, once I get my marksman to level 3, I have another marksman here. And you can see right there, the boss 1s are approaching us. I get my next level 3 marksman. I try to get another level 3 marksman here. I end up selling a farm. And we can see he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boss 1s. That's a huge rush. I go ahead and sell the last farm and I get a shotgunner upgrade. Now what this does is it softens up the boss 1s for me. I choose not to spam it because I know that this shotgunner is going to interact with each of these boss 1s individually. Now with that commander down, I buff all of my shotgunners and my marksmen because they're so tightly packed together. You can see he is still sending the boss 1s. Combined with the wave 11 bosses, Even the smallest rush can look pretty large. But it looks like my marksmen are cleaning up the boss 1 rush. Unfortunately for him, his patrol boss 1 rush did not work out. And he is dying to mysteries on his side. That's it for his strategy. Now onto a patrol commando matchup. Patrol is very, very common. Commando is very, very common. Looks like it takes me a while to get a game here, but you can see patrol. We got phaser, railgun, and commando and farm. Pretty expensive towers. And a patrol is not going to get you the farms you need for those expensive towers. Now he goes, interestingly enough, he vetoes a Midnight Road, military base, and city. So I don't know what kind of map he's looking for, but I just let him have it. And I click ready without choosing a map. He goes for way out. Not a problem. Go ahead and set up. You can see I always place one shotgunner after the other if I can help it on each corner. On a long map like this, however, the slows take a very long time to get to the next corner. So you are going to be missing out on cash. And this can be anywhere from $50 to missing an entire farm upgrade. I just barely squeezed out a level 4 farm there. Just in time for that wave 8. Sometimes if you spam the upgrade, you can get it with the end of wave cash and the farm cash while the farms are spinning out cash. But that's very rare and not something you should rely on. Now I go ahead and get an anarchist here to start applying pressure to the enemy. I go ahead and place down 2 marksmen. Now these are both level 1 marksmen. I was just testing it out to see how they would fare, since this map pretty much loops on itself twice. But generally you would want a level 3 marksman. No threats on our side. There is the 2 bosses. We get our level 4 anarchist at wave 12 here by selling a level 4 farm. Now, if you can sell the cheaper farms instead of the level 4 farms, you probably should. However, I'm not playing to the best of my ability. On his side, he does have some boss 1s that are pressuring his commandos. I'm watching my side closely because I don't know what's going to happen. But it looks like his patrol is not able to kill the mega android. I go ahead and smoke his commandos. This prevents him from targeting the rest of my rush there. And that mega android has just enough health to get past. The end. Now the next one is another patrol commando loadout. Looks like this time we get Western. I do not advise you play Western with this loadout if you can help it. Now this guy is spamming patrols. That means he probably has no farms whatsoever, which is a huge plus for us as we are going to send a massive boss 1 rush here. I do send a couple on the previous waves. However, I like to do a massive boss 1 rush if I can, because that helps me set up my anarchist mega android. As you can see here, it's proceeding very well. A lot of boss 1s to help push the front line. He's got a back commando. This looks pretty similar to the one where I lost on Western. However, it is not going well for him at all. He's got many boss 1s to deal with and nothing to kill them with. On my side, there's a bunch of mysteries and necromancer plowing through. However, they are no threat because we have already gotten the rush to his exit. The end for him. Now our next proof is a long map plasma rematch against the previous player. He's got the premium towers, he's got the wins. However, he does not have the strategy. So he goes for a western and I go for oil rig. Now oil rig is a longer map. However, oil rig is harder to defend because it does not loop on itself. It wraps around a very wide track with very tight corners here. You can see western is literally wrapping on itself. I actually do end up voting western though. I guess I didn't see him as a threat. However, if you have the option to pick grasslands, I imagine you'd be able to rush them pretty easily. But there's one caveat, and that's that they would probably leave upon getting grasslands, and you don't want your opponent to leave before the game even starts, really, because they're not going to get to wave 7, and you will miss out on credits. So we start that western game. I go ahead and get my farms. It looks like I had to place a back shotgunner, however, I do sell that very quickly. It looks like I did almost wipe to those slows, so that's why. I'm not sure if he sent here though. I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he's playing super passive, which is generally how you want to play against this loadout. Looks like I've got decent amount of farms set up here by wave 10. On his side, he does have quite a few plasmas set up. I think there's 3 there. Okay, the wave ends here. I send a couple boss 1s here, but I don't send a full rush. I don't want to spend all of my money because I can afford to get the level 4 anarchist with my farm money without even selling the farms. I send a single boss 1 here with the money I have. There is a bit of a rush already ongoing. Looks like some mysteries are going by. I do go ahead and get more farms. Now that probably isn't necessary, but the more of a lead you have over your opponent, the better. And especially if they've got a bunch of plasma and they can try to outlast you. Unfortunately, the plasma do nothing to the Mega Android. A lot of the boss 1s are coming out pretty unhealthy though. But it looks like he does not attempt to counter that Mega Android, so he loses. Now I've got another example of plasma on a long map. I'm pretty sure this was the first match with him. He gets the military base. I play it like normal. Wave 8, I've got my 2 farms. Get my anarchist down at wave 11 here. Send some boss 2s. I'm always checking the enemy side just to make sure that my rushes aren't being completely countered, because you don't want to just send, you know, a boss 1 every wave and then they all die and they don't do anything for you. That's a total waste of money. You want to make sure they're pushing the front line. Like you see that one back there, it's getting through. Unfortunately, that's not enough to kill him though. Let's see here, I do pressure with more boss 1s. The boss 1s do start slipping by, I believe due to the mysteries. I'm not sure if the smoke was completely effective there. It looks like a lot of boss 1s got through. Very unfortunate for him. And he was not able to save it, just like the rematch. Now, this one here, okay, it looks like it was actually the person with 5,000 wins. He's got a couple farms stashed away there. Not sure why. I go ahead and play like normal though. So this guy is using Mortar and Gold Scout together, along with the Commander. He has this set up on wave 13. I do try to pressure him with some boss ones. I get a pretty decent rush going, and I even try to smoke out his Gold Scout so that my Mega Android can get through. But unfortunately, no matter what I tried, I couldn't get the rush to go through. He even got another Gold Commando and a Mortar. So unfortunately, it took it all the way to wave 20. Now, to kill the boss 2s, I did have a bunch of level 3 marksmen. However, we got all the way to wave 23 here. I'm already sending hidden bosses on him. And normally this loadout could deal with this if you weren't playing the way that I do. However, it's very rare that anyone knows how to counter it, and of course it ended in a loss because he did know how to counter it. I wouldn't expect less for anyone who has 5,000 wins. The interesting thing is that if you check his loadout at the beginning, the towers do not match what he brought at all. So perhaps he swapped them very quickly or something, I'm not sure. But trying as I may, I could not get any of the bosses to go through. So passive wins on the long map, not a huge surprise to me. And then I've got another match here. Looks like that guy left, so I ended up going against this fellow named Smart Robot. I don't have footage of his win count, unfortunately. But this guy does put up a really good fight. I'm going to show where it starts to get interesting. So on his side, he's got level 3, level 4 Enforcer. And I've started my Mega Android and Boss 1 Rush. It is wave 11. He's got 2 level 4 farms. So he's got way more farms than I do right now. My only advantage is the Mega Android is coming to get him. And of course, this is a big map, so my marksman is a lot more effective at dispatching bosses. His enforcers have very little range, so they're not really influenced by the map size. Let's see here, he actually got another level 4 farm. The Mega Android is trying to make its way past his enforcer. Barely squeezes through that boss 1 and gets ahead. Now, if he had placed his enforcers properly, they would have kept hitting the android. However, this did not occur. You just have to place them slightly off center because they target what's closest to them. So having them directly in the corner makes them retarget the next closest enemy. It's pretty buggy. You can see this guy's just swinging all over the place. So unfortunately that Mega Android died right there because he got his other level 4 enforcer. However, I do not give up. Giving up is the quickest path to losing. You can see here we've got mysteries now. Fun fact about mysteries, you can send mysteries instead of boss 1s because they will get to the front lines pretty quick. It's optional. I haven't tried it personally, but I've seen people do it. But since I did not, I opted for sending many boss 1s. You can see here the enforcers are trying their best to tear my Mega Android to pieces, and the boss 1s are not having a good day either. I do manage to get my Mega Android through, but it looks like he's already got another Enforcer that's level 4 and he stuns it out. However, the rush is not over. You can see here another Mega Android is making its way. There's a Necromancer providing support in the back to my Mega Android, which is going to throw off the Enforcer targeting along with the boss ones doing their thing. They are relentless, those Enforcers, but unfortunately he did not place them properly. We can see here on my side a boss one almost got to the end, but it died because Marksman is overpowered. On his end, the Mega Android is trying to make another pass through, but there's a lot going on in my lane, so I end up focusing it for this. You can see the struggle is real on my side. His side, he's got boss ones going there. However, I have to defend my side now. I focus on getting another Marksman. It doesn't do too much for me. However, on his side, there are like 7 boss ones and a Mega Android about to plow through his defense there. He goes ahead and panic places a bunch of Enforcers. However, he's not quick enough. And the boss ones on my side barely make it through, so I get a shotgun. I go ahead and sell everything. I make this the strongest shotgunner possible and I win. So as you can see, Enforcer normally would counter a Mega Android rush. However, if you play it this way, even an army of Enforcers is no match. Now, I've got another video here. This guy is using Graveyard. Graveyard is not a early game tower, but it's pretty common to see it used as one. This just plays like a normal match. He's doing pretty average. He doesn't have great farms. I've got a couple farms, and our fields look pretty similar, except I think his skeletons are not able to kill the natural boss one. This might have gone a little differently, except by placing my Anarchist early on, I think at wave 8 or 9. Yeah, I placed a wave 8 Anarchist, and what that did was it forced a bunch of HP in zombies through his lines, so he was unable to defend it in time. He probably could have gotten a level 3 Graveyard at some point, but the Anarchist pushed the front line just a little bit more, and he took a loss there. Now, I've got a video here of me playing on Canyon. I'm not sure what this guy is running. I think he sent a normal, actually, and I told him to not send. Now, when you tell people not to send, usually they expect you to not send yourself. So I'm just playing dumb. I'm acting like I'm losing. I actually did something pretty funny here. I've got one farm here, right? What I'm actually doing is I'm hiding another farm here in the corner, all the way in the back. So he cannot predict this strategy. He actually does check my side at some point. He climbs up on the hill here. He sees that level 4 farm, but things don't look too good on my side. Either way, he's pretty confident in what's going on. He's got his Enforcers. He's ready to counter that wave 9 Mega Android or whatever, but unfortunately, he underestimated me. I go ahead and get my Anarchist, and I say, this is what you get for sending. Obviously, one little android doesn't seem like much. He actually sends his own android over here, so I say, oh, you asked for it. You sent me an android? I'm going to send you some bosses. So I went ahead and I sent him some bosses. Pretty standard routine play there. Nice little boss run rush going. is now wave 11. You can see there, I've got my marksman in the back. It can cover the full canyon area without focusing on the normal zombies that shotgunners are supposed to kill. Unfortunately, my boss one rush was so powerful that he forgot that hidden were gonna come through, and he just kept making enforcer spam. Okay, so that's all the videos I have. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you use this strategy in your own way. There's a lot of ways you can play with it. You can be defensive, you can be aggressive, but generally if you're playing the way I am, you'll want to finish your game before wave 17 or 18, because that's when things get really dicey. Alright, thanks for watching. Goodbye.